So, yeah, start off with the Trans 2 movie, City That Time Forgot. Yeah. And action. City That Time Forgot. Pirate Production presents City That Time Forgot. I believe they're gonna do the Cybernet Space Cube gags. Machines That Time Forgot. That's what the story's called. Um, and yeah. Okay, so it's the Generation 2 cheesy computer enhanced Transformers logo thing, looking like it's going to be all amazing and cheesy CG, shot on Shirio. Looks like Prime just beat that guy for no reason. And then we cut to the brilliantly hilarious Cybernet Space Cube is in orbit of the Earth thing. And then they blow the shit out of the Cybernet Space Cube. Okay, that's funny. Yeah, they were prisoners.
Use you as weapons of destruction.
So Jetfire is explaining to them that they were being used as weapons.
Myself, the leader Optimus Prime was, however.
Jetfire is Prime. Or Skyfire is Prime. That whole Macross Robotech Prime thing. MC Kim. This is probably the of all the Transtech things, the final one is the cleanest. And yeah, still has some problems though. Trying very carefully not to get my hand in the shot. I don't know if I quite succeed. Oh, there's a transformation in here. That's going to take forever. Mini DV camera was used on this one. Yeah.
6 shots. You will report to Mindwipe when we get back to Chop.
You'll report to Mindwipe.
Why you abandoned Fortress Maximus to the Autobots. Galvatron is gone, but with Megatron's re-emergence, you will take forth the worlds which Galvatron left behind.
The worlds which Galvatron left behind. So basically, Hook is upset that he failed mission and left the base behind.
Fortress Maximus was no more together than Galvatron was when he was blown apart. It was destroyed, left in so many pieces that you couldn't sweep them up. There's nothing left of them. The only one's got a scrap pile, not a fortress.
He's basically a hyper-conservative bully who has decided, well, I'm not wrong because, yeah, they were already dead. That's his excuse. The other ones were dead too. It's not much of an excuse.
You cannot let Megatron know this. I will not tell him. But even so, we couldn't get the fortress back. We're on the shuttle.
Oh, it was a blurry. And then came back.
That is true. Perhaps later.
Perhaps later. We're about to true. Yeah, so this doesn't have music in it. This part, anyway. Is that? Oh, that's an internet console. rabbit ears.
Weird. What is it?
It's funny that he's using TV rabbit ears to control the ship. You have a fairly good use of the hand effect, without actually showing that it's a hand. Oh no, it's the
There
STF.
appears to be some kind of time warp.
The time warp. So they're going to do the time warp thing, which is often another staple of Transformers, another sci-fi. And someone else did a Till-All-Or One that was basically this. So we did too.
From the pack? I thought we destroyed them. No, it's his time warp.
Oh, so they're doing the time warp.
Somehow.
Dinobot Island time warp episode. Oh, we're one in part 2.
It has come through in time. Oh boy, we should retrieve it and take it to Galvatron. You mean Megatron? Yeah.
Megatron's back.
But if we retrieve it, then it will be like what the Decepticons did on Dinobot Island in 1986.
Oh yeah, I just
The repercussions against time would be astronomical.
astronomical.
It would destroy the universe. Oh boy. No
He wants to.
destroy the universe.
Oh boy, to destroy the universe. Oh no.
Check it out. Uh-oh. It's gone. The time warp is gone.
They fell into it.
Then we have little choice. We will have to take the ship to Char after all. Lock a pulling beam onto it. We'll tow it along. Of course.
Meanie.
Engaging pulling beam.
Yep, it's broken SDF-3 after being retrieved from the Goodwill. To the wrestling match that broke the stacks off in a previous story. It had been refurbished slightly there, not completely, and it was in the Ivy, and then it was after Jim broke the smokestacks off. And I think we saw it in its disarrayed state at that point. It had already been rescued, and now it's partly refurbished, so up to the smokestack. So, yeah. Yeah. Dan doing the voice of Rodimus Prime beating up on Starscream. But we won't use that. They just cut that out. Yeah. We won't use that.
What brings you here?
What brings you here?
Talking Autobots don't need to know where I'm going.
You know, I lost his
When I want
top piece
what I
there.
want to know is, where am I?
Like you don't know. What do you take me for? A complete moron?
A moron. Dance. He looks like he's like hugging him. I need to hug you, Starscream. I love you, Starscream. And that's not what's going on, but let's say yeah.
Excellent. I will destroy him and become the leader of the Decepticons.
So the plan is he fell through a time warp, and he's actually from another time. So he falls through the time warp and destroys the transformer.
That's weird. I didn't think Starscream would be around here. Perhaps Teletron 1 can explain why Starscream is in two places at once. I thought he would be at the Decepticon base.
He was surprised that he discovered that it was 1995.
1995. So we're going back to Pact years. Prime. No. You have to figure out that it's 1995. Yeah, the time transitions aren't evident in the story, except for them mentioning it. Like, why was I doing that?
We must locate the time warp and any other anomalies.
The time warp?
Very good, Prime. The
Time displacement.
And you belong in the time warp.
He's in this quite a bit.
Have bots from other times roaming around here.
We do have Octane. They changed his name to Octone. Apparently they didn't have permission to use Octane as a thing. Sort of like a slag, he became Slog or something. Didn't have permission to do that. They were, yeah. It's a really strange marketing decision. Just call him Slag. Just call this guy this. Yeah. But even Disney Marvel had that problem with that ship they called Slave One in Star Wars. They had to rename it in the Boba Fett movie the Fire Spray, which sounds dirtier actually. The Fire Spray. And then they bring it back, they rescue it, and then they don't do anything with it in the final battle. It'd be like if they had like a Trans-Tech story and they're like, oh, we rescued like the chief main bad guy ship, the SDF-3, and we totally use it to destroy the Decepticons. Then we'll forget to do it. Didn't do that.
Destroyed Megatron. So there never was any guy. Unicron has destroyed Cybertron. Yes, I traveled back in time.
I came back in time.
And now I'm the ultimate leader of everyone.
You must have fallen through
A time warp.
the time warps of
Yes, the time warps. So yeah, we really don't want to use the kit voice. Yeah, even though it is one of us, like, no, better not do that. Yeah. So Starscream has different versions of Starscream have come through time, and some of them know about the time warp, and they're gonna like use it to go back into the past, screw with the past. It's kind of what's going on. Yeah. Sequel to Dinobot Island, apparently.
Skyfire. There's no sign of Bumblebee anywhere.
Oh, they used the garage in this
How long since the time warp disappeared? A few moments ago.
one.
Scattershot.
Oh, they're using music.
A recon mission.
Yeah. Now they're going to have to go find out what happened to them. I guess that's actually the deck outside. The table over it. That was an ashtray. Ashtray. You know.
Skyfire. Scattershot just do a time warp. Must have been a quick time warp. Only a few seconds long. Oh no.
Oh no. Time warp took him.
What is this place? This place is decimated.
Decimate.
Kind of weird war.
That's a good word. Decimate.
Humans is taking place. It could only be one.
Scattershot is another.
2007. During the
2000.
heat plague, which swept across the earth.
Let's reference other Transformer shows. That's another thing that fans would always do, and I'm doing it here. You kind of don't want to do that. Not too much. Fan service within fan service is kind of
Aren't ya?
redundant.
I mean, me from some other time.
I'm doing it in this one though.
It is 2007, and I'm gonna kill you.
So a hate plague.
You can't kill me. You're me. You can't kill me because you're me. I mean, if you kill me, then the universe will be destroyed. Then so be it.
They're fighting each other. Are there two of them in that shot, or is it just one and making it look like there are two of them? I think it's just one. They're fighting each other. But maybe it'll lead to them making it loud.
It's over for you, man.
Oh, maybe there's two of them there. Did he kill him?
There's only room in the universe for one of us.
Ew. Oh, the city, the Metroplex. Yeah, there's an airplane going. There were always airplanes flying overhead during shot. Miss Prime. I didn't know he was a transformer. He became a transsexual and became Miss Prime. Miss Prime. Oh my. His name is what? Miss Prime. Misanthrope. Misanthropic Prime.
Okay, Prime. Prime. At the first sign of Starscream's energy, we will know, because our Starscream will be somewhere else. The future one will slip up. We will know.
Yes. As soon as we know, we will know.
We will know. Sooner than you think, Optimus Prime. I have come to destroy you. I have destroyed Megatron, so why not you? Decepticons.
Oh, giant Starscream in our universe.
No robots.
Yeah. Transformers Cybertron, they did make a giant Starscream starship, which was later redubbed the Regis Maximus and all Transformers much. Well, that was a giant Starscream. There was a giant Starscream in the comic books, is what they were thinking of. Yeah. Unicron, Starscream, whatever. It's cool they had one. Not very articulated either. It's a Titan class. Small Titan class. Oh.
2016. Shortly after the destruction of Optimus Prime by way of the funeral pyre, created by Megatron and Six-Shot.
Ooh, sort of retconned that.
Son of a bitch.
Come on. Come on. There. The music's in there. Death of Optimus Prime by funeral pyre. Yeah, well, that was early 2016, wasn't it? I messed with the timeline, yeah, the old stuff. Yep. Curious to know why that scene's even in there.
I've been lying here dead for almost 20 years.
Like you're dead for 20 years.
Prime was destroyed by a Starscream from the future. Sunstreaker, what are you doing all dismembered? And what are you babbling about? You must fix me. Prime, the universe, they're all in danger of being destroyed. He must be stopped. That's true. If a Starscream from the future has come here, you must sometime in the future. Uh-oh. What's that?
My hand.
Come here. You must sometime in the future. Uh-oh. What's that?
My hand.
A time warp has transported me through time.
Okay, yeah, he's not too bright.
Well, if it isn't Hot Spot and Sunstreaker the Dismembered.
I just wanted to say dismember.
You are not supposed to be here. This is the year 2017. You're not supposed to be here. It's true that I have arrived through a time you too.
I arrived through a time warp.
Here's an
Yeah.
Hey, this place looks like a place I was. I don't. What the?
It's kind of weird.
A moment ago, I was just flying.
It is still similar in some ways to
Now here
redemption and corrosion and
sometime.
transitions. A little bit to transitions.
You say 27?
A little bit.
Yes.
Some of the bigger ones.
Well, doesn't matter. I'm gonna have to kill you.
Mmm.
So, without further ado.
Emperor Starscream was one of the short stories. This was in '95, so it was the early days of the internet. The mush was brand new.
What the heck?
This particular story, like the Carta 2 and the other one, were online as printed versions at one point.
Through a time warp from 2018, and I end up only maybe a year.
They get in a multiverse long before multiverses were trendy.
I blew up on autopilot, so I don't believe it. It can't be.
I thought in that universe he was burnt to death.
2 years ago, I shot you. In fact, me and Galvatron burned you right over there. That funeral pyre thing. Huh. How could you be alive right now?
He's all mad. How could you be alive right now?
You should be dead. Don't recall being burned or shot. But you're a Decepticon I don't even recognize. I must have fallen into a time warp, and so must have you. Oh boy. Yeah. Ooh, I got an idea.
He's got an idea.
Time warp from somewhere else, like before I was created. Well then, I'll just have to kill you again. What's so funny about that? Because it'll be the fourth time we killed you.
Okay, he's just maniacal. Fourth time I've killed
2018. Well, we found the Sunstreaker's remains.
Star Sunstreaker. I kind of fucked that line up.
We can rebuild him. Yes. Perhaps. But where did he come from? Possibly to one of those time warps. Yes. From the year 1995. 1995? Sunstreaker. That was a long time ago. 20 years. Anyway.
Not 20 years ago. Well, if it's 2018, it would be 23 years ago.
You must stop. Quit joking around. Just listen. Starscream is in 1995. What? Starscream? That Decepticon clod is in 1995? Oh, great. He's gonna screw up the whole universe. We gotta stop him.
Screw up the whole universe.
Let's fly out and stop him.
Fly out and stop him.
This time warp should take us right there.
Oh man.
There's a battle going on over there. It's Bruticus and Starscream. Oh, great. Bruticus. That means we're in even further back. We're too far back. We can't stop Starscream. Not here. We're in 85 or somewhere like that. Oh, great. We're going to be trapped here another 20, 30 years.
What was that?
Octane had been returned to his own time period, 2006, by way of a time warp. But he still Starscream, who would
I still didn't know not to put them down on the guy, because from above it doesn't look like it.
He was a sentient transformer. Octane must stop. Starscream must be stopped because he could drastically alter the future. My future. All futures to come.
The Octane, the other Octane.
And they must avenge that stupid Autobot,
Huh?
even though he's an Autobot. Well, guess it's time to do that. Which is right.
Hot idea. I don't know. Yeah, that Transformers really don't look like much. That's a weird idea. Tanker truck transforming into a much larger jet plane and then flying off. A jet plane. Of course, broadside transformed into an aircraft carrier, big enough to hold his jet mode. Like several of his jet modes. Mass shifting. Just weird. Just, yeah, and then they made the later ones. They made the later Decepticons and Airbots and all that stuff for Combiner Wars, small, about the same size, a little taller, to match the regular Transformers in that they had reduced in size during the Voyager Warrior class. So, yeah. You make them smaller now.
So, I passed through a time. But Megatron and I, we were making a weather dominator. Yeah, how'd you know? Happened a few years ago. You passed through time warp, like I said.
We'll pass through time warp.
Wow.
Love time warp.
2006.
What does this have a script?
2006.
I think it did because there was a script version. Yeah,
Well,
that was released.
are there any more Decepticons? Yes. Now,
I'm sure as a story, it probably made a little more
we have to
sense.
stop Starscream. Why should we do that?
And I'm about to stick my transformer once again into a dog poo
1995
or cat poo.
to destroy Megatron. Destroy him? Why would we want to do that?
If they know that Starscream was going to destroy Megatron in the other timeline, then couldn't they go back and
I'm gonna go where I like. You
stop
can
it?
do what you like. Ha.
Just knocked him out and said, "I'm gonna go where I like."
Immediately to Dinobot Island, where time travel warps are known to occur, and we should get you back where you belong and stop Starscream.
Dinobot Island.
What's in it for me?
Respect. I remember that line.
Well, let's go to
Respect.
Dinobot Island. And let's
I think I stole that from
going on
something.
and stop Starscream.
What's in it for me? Respect.
Might
Sounds like
as
a
well
Beverly Hills
find
Cop
stuff
line or
here
something.
anyway.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or something. Yeah, could have been anything.
Autobots. This is the year 1985. Starscream's in the year 1995. We only have 10 years to wait to stop him. So let's go to Dinobot Island and wait for him, or jump into a time warp that leads us there.
Time warp makes more sense.
Autobots, let's fly out.
How did he do that? They fly now? Dinobot Island. So this is kind of a sequel to Dinobot Island. Alright. Maybe that explains the Beast Wars and Rise of the Beast too. Maybe they're Dinobot Island or something.
In the year 2000.
Be kind of an interesting twist. They're not supposed to be there. Time War. The desires, the time crystal. Clang. I'm sure it's not connected to the Netflix show. No. Well, what's weird is the Earthrise and then Kingdom story. They transformed into cars, but we never saw them in modern Earth. We always saw them in the other Earths. How would they know what their modern car forms would look like? Messed up but partially refurbished SDF-1. We had two. No, it's the same one. I think we had two.
No problems.
It was funny that it was thrown in the ivy and discarded and then found later.
Before we arrive.
And then I purchased it. It's the same dude.
There any chronal activity?
Purchased it back.
Possibly. I will check.
Oh.
Yes, there was chronal
That's a
activity
dresser.
for about 10 minutes. We didn't pass through it, but I'm afraid Six Shot has followed
The time circuit.
Swallowed up. What am I going to tell Megatron? Oh.
Oh, so the twist is that he went through with the ship.
You can
Yeah.
tell him, Chris.
That's okay. Oh no, it's Megatron. Ew, that gun thing attached directly to his skull or his shoulder, and his boobage makes it impossible for him to turn his head. Not only that, but that thing blocks him from that side, from the right side entirely. His peripheral vision is gone.
A time war.
Same to a sound wave and.
You two will come with me to the SDF Autobot, which you captured. We have just begun to open it. It shouldn't even be here. It should have been destroyed in the year 1985. Yes, it fell through a time warp.
Yeah. Time warp.
Yes, I know it fell through a time warp.
It doesn't have hardly any music.
We must endeavor to know the answer why.
We must know the answer. Why? That's an on location.
Mighty Megatron.
Yes, odd.
Found an Autobot.
Odd story.
An Autobot. Is that what was in there? Yes. Make him speak. I'll explain myself without being made to talk, Megatron. And judging by your armor, I'd say I've arrived in good old 2018. After being trapped on the SDF Autobot. It's 1985.
Oh, that's the interesting twist. Okay, so you stayed on the STF Autobot for years.
Well, you see, Megatron, it's kind of complicated. Starscream is back in the year 1985. Fell through a time...
He's back in '85.
Fell through a time warp? That sounds like what happened to Six Shot. Yeah, there's hundreds of them out there.
Time warps.
He rules that area. In 1995, he arrived in the past through a time warp and took over your empire. Empire? He can't have my empire. That traitorous fool. Will have his reactor. Yeah, but if you go after him now,
Oh, they're all one.
you will be the leader of this universe. You have to go back to 1985 and stop
In his universe, though.
before he destroys.
Yeah, because if he's in the other multiverse, then it won't work.
Some time for us, hasn't he?
Time for the universe to destroy itself.
All we gotta do is
Go back and stop Starscream.
Yes. For once, I agree with an Autobot. We must stop Starscream. Only because he's an annoying ass.
Asshole. Oh.
Find the time warp and go to where he
You know, the time warp's already started, so that means that the other, what's going on wasn't Starscream that did it, but some other force of nature that's doing it. Probably having blown up the deity in the Cardinal. That's probably what.
Yes, sir.
He was
Make sure we do not run into any more of those time warps on the way to the solar system of the flesh creatures.
He just walks away. Fuck you.
Bring the Autobot.
I'm out, bitch. Yo.
Yes, mighty Megatron.
Man, bitches.
No.
I'm out, man, bitches. It's a pretender shell thing. Yeah, that guy's still around. Well, part of him is.
Activate the hyperspace engine.
With Hasbro written on the back.
A moment ago, I was tricking Rodimus Prime. This is weird.
Galvatron also fell through time.
Mighty Galvatron, what are you doing here?
He's gonna pimp slap him.
Vessel, you act like you don't even know me. But you are supposed to be dead, or rather, recreated. What are you yammering about?
He pimp slapped him. Punched him.
Listen, all right, get up.
I punched you. Get up.
Recreated you a few months ago, Galvatron, and that strange force changed.
Strange force.
How is that possible?
How is it possible? I don't know.
It is possible because it happened. A very strange story. I, a moment ago, on the other hand, was trying to trick Rodimus Prime by using a false ultimate weapon against him. It wasn't
From 2000, he must be from 2005, early 2006.
It happened 12 years ago. This is but the year 2018. 2018.
Ah, 2018.
The year 2006. To a light. Get a quintesson to this.
I don't know.
A quintesson? I don't know. Probably not.
Well, I might have.
All I know is Rodimus Prime was not fooled by your ultimate weapon. And I don't know what's creating the weird time warps.
I don't know what's going on, basically, Galvatron.
Seems you have little choice in that matter. I'm going to stay here, since I don't know how to get back.
Notice that
Motormaster.
yeah, this is like near what trans tech would be later in just a few years.
Here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
A few months ago,
the
you were covered by
cinematic
blue
stuff is still
stones.
off. But
The stones covered you and reformed you into Megatron. Reformed me?
I already told you this, but for some reason I have to tell you it again. Oh, yes. Oh, it's actually got transformations. Early digital processor transformation. Never worked properly though. I kind of can't remember.
A
This
time
one
warp.
kind of does.
That's how I
Galvatron, but the other one.
brought through time the year 2006. Yes, it would appear that
Yeah.
destroying this planet, the flesh creature's world, which doesn't matter to you.
Starscream.
I could care less too.
I could care less
Use
too.
your divine forces to stomp the humans and the autos. Or perhaps the time warps before we are all destroyed. A little noble for my taste, but perhaps we should.
Maybe we should help instead of killing each other and the humans. It'd probably be a better idea. It's just because he's an older Megatron who knows better. In only a short time, actually. It's kind of odd. Well, he knows the digital situation.
Mighty Megatron
It's to stop Starscream.
has vanished.
Yeah.
Vanished.
And if they kill the other ones, they can't do that.
Time warps are really screwing everything up here.
It's less Back to the Future and more Star Trek kind of idea.
I don't know where it went.
It's not really later on, much later on, the Marvel's Avengers idea. It's not really that either. Yeah.
Starscream escaped into the year 1995, at least according to Cup, who just vanished.
Cup is an Autobot.
I take it he did something bad, which isn't very good for us.
Take it easy, something bad.
According to that Cup, which we retrieved from the SDF Autobot, when Starscream took over our empire, another Starscream created universe.
Starscream created a universe,
This universe
so he
was
becomes the
destroyed,
Watcher.
altered forever.
Well, a lot of the Marvel stuff was based on the comic books, so yeah, and There has always been a Marvel Transformers connection. They did the comic books for the G1 show and Generation 2. So, yeah, it's Marvel. So, yeah, there was a lot of Marvel-y stuff in there. Jaxis and whatever. The Unicron trilogy several times over. Giant Starscream. Space Gods. And, yeah. Digital processor on that camera that allows me to transform. That camera broke during the production of Trans Tech 1. About halfway through 40 minutes of filming, it just died. Then we got a slightly better one, so we had to shoot it over again. And that earlier footage, we put it in the bloopers. Yeah, we did it better when we did 2 rehearsals. Yeah, they re-released the Dinobots in 2021, 22 as a larger versions of. Yeah. Here, back in '95. Yeah, whenever they say it's a later year or whatever, it's funny looking back and I go like, it's really 2018, really 2005. For them, it hasn't happened yet. The production team hasn't happened. And now the finger in front of the camera trick, which doesn't really look that good. What's I doing? Never mind. It didn't work. I think that's a thinly veiled reference to a guy named Henry from Pine Hill. And another guy. No, it's another dude. No, it's Mike. Mike V from Pine Hill. Who walked up to Mark's cards one morning and said, "You know what, John, it works." He goes, "What?" "Masturbation." It's like, aren't you old enough to know it works? Yeah, needless to say, that did not happen in this episode.
A moment ago, we were in 2006, racing away from the Decepticon headquarters, and now we're here.
Ah.
This is very strange.
Time warp. Why do I keep filming them from above? Like some kind of weird Disney attraction.
How we left it.
Why did I do that? Probably, in this case, I'm doing it to avoid filming the fence behind them. That would be my guess.
Yes, we are in our future, perhaps a year in advance, perhaps 2007. Then we're in our future. Hey, we can have a look around. No, look.
No, we're going out of focus. No.
The hate plague. The Decepticons haven't given us any trouble. No. I know what we must do. We must return to our own time immediately.
Clang.
Remain here.
Cannot remain here. It's kind of sound like Tim. I wonder who it was. I don't think he was in this. Was he in this? Might have a cameo.
We have been transported through time again. And this is very scary.
Transported your time.
It's the future. Galvatron is Decepticon.
Yeah, we rebuilt some of the pack-based thing.
Those new city robots are fighting.
Yeah, there was a cue, director's cue right there. Cue the shaking. That's funny. That was neat. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
We're back right where we started. Yes, it would appear we are.
Clang. And there's like fucked up lawn. There's those straps. Or like a lawn reseeding project going on there. It's funny. They're in the front yard. They're still in the backyard. That's funny though. It's hilarious. Not too bright, but it's okay.
And you guys are about to pass by.
It's because I'm inbred. There's 6 of me in here. Got one of them there, inbreeding. The bastard child of 6 transformers. All at once.
Because you have little choice. Have you ever heard of the creator of the robot, Optimus Prime? I have heard of him. He's behind this.
Alpha Trion's
He allowed
back.
us to travel in time and allowed you to jump forward 1 year and return. I know this because I was there.
I was there.
Is trying to right the universe to correct the time warps. Think maybe Starscream might be behind.
But now he says Starscream's behind it instead of him. So, correct the time.
But I know that creator is falling behind the warps.
I'm gonna try to analyze how this works, but it's sort of, yeah, a Back to the Future meets Star Trek thing. More than Marvel. The later Marvel isn't really that exactly. Yeah, it's a movie version of Dinobots.
Fire gone. I knew that would happen.
So he has powers of Prionsons, even though that's just because he's a time traveler. He is a 6 ninja though, so maybe he has 6 ninja. May sludge too. Ooh. Dinobots are funny. Anyway, so no. So yeah.
Are you gonna eat that chocolate thing? That was good.
What is going on?
You wanna split it?
The Autolot base is just over there. We should get out of here before the planet destroys itself. Send their 6 shots. Mighty leader, the creator of machines has done this to destroy the universe and start all over again.
Destroy the universe. Ah.
What of Starscream? Has he affected this timeline? He has created an alternate timeline in which he is leader of the Decepticons.
It's gone. It's gone.
He will be destroyed in a matter of hours. More of the time warps.
Anyway,
Grimlock find Decepticons.
that's it. They were like, find Decepticons.
Time warps. The Dinobots. But they will not attack us.
The Dinobots.
Find Starscream. Stop him. Scavenger.
So yeah, we have the Transformers plotting. We don't need to go back. We have the Transformers plotting to go through the time warp to find Starscream. It's convoluted. Just an excuse to show all of the trans series all the way through in some form or another. And I believe I left a lot of that out of the final print here. Yeah, the only scene they did show was burning primes.
The chronal energy coming from that one looks like it's coming from far back. Go in that one, Scavenger. Very well. I will travel into it immediately. Starscream. I see him. He's beating up an Autobot. He killed an Autobot. This must be 1995. I'll just fall back through it and report. I made it. I saw him. Saw him? Yes. He was there. He appeared in the time warp.
It's time warp.
Mine. I will go back and personally slay him. Thanks to your
Yes. This is why there's two Galvatron brothers in Old Transformers Smash.
mighty Galvatron.
That's why.
You may not come back.
Time Warp
But
brothers.
make certain you throw Starscream back.
Yep. And why they're in Energon and Cybertron.
Or even save you the trouble.
Cybertron.
Well,
Transformers Cybertron.
working with ya. Because
Superlink.
yeah.
Superlink was the Energon one. Cybertron was Cyber Planet Key War. Cyber Planet Keys. Which is not a good
I've
title.
arrived just
A little too on the
in
nose.
time.
Uh-oh. Da-da-da-da-da.
Galvatron, is that you? How can you be here? I am here to stop you from destroying
From the
First
time.
Creature's universe, which we co-inhabit. But mighty Gal,
I
have
haven't
you
done it.
gone soft for humans? No, we will be destroyed, all of us, even the flesh creatures. If
Yeah,
you
we'll destroy them, even the Flash creature.
alter this time, this 1995. You cannot stop me. I have come here to roar. You're a fool,
So,
Starscream.
Starscream.
Time period. Prepare to die.
Starscream in any time period. Killed him again.
Universe will be
That would explain why in Beast Wars, which is later, he was a ghost again.
Your end is
Yeah. So the Beast Wars people do, oh yeah, he was killed again right after the Unicron thing. And this guy's fanfill of the trans tech, right? So yeah, he's dead again, so he has to be a spark. Like a ghost spark. Like, yeah, but that was a fan film. That was us. That wasn't, that wasn't actually Transformers. It was a guy playing with his toys.
I have destroyed
He's actually alive. But no, they wanted our stuff. Ew. Starscream's dead again. Oh. Sounds like it's midsummer or something. The grass is all dead.
Mighty Megatron, I am victorious. Starscream is dead and the universe to the right. Starscream is destroyed, and I am victorious. Excellent. Galvatron, you have done well. Under less trying circumstances, I would destroy you, Skyfire. Agreed, Megatron.
Agreed,
Time
Megatron.
distortions will destroy this universe. And then there's the matter of a certain thing we took from a time warp. The SDF Autobot. It could have made some of the time distortion. You have to return it.
The SDF Autobot.
We will get it for you. And take it to Dinobot Island. That would be a good idea.
It's the fourth or
If
fifth.
you did find the SDF Autobot intact from a time warp, it's probably from a parallel universe of some sort.
Thought maybe maybe from the
So our next
Space Bridge universe.
destination is Dinobot Island? After we get the SDF Autobot?
SDF Autobot.
I agree with
Yeah,
you.
not really narrating this too much because it doesn't really need it. But yeah, we're just there.
Decepticons, Autobots,
That's
fly out.
da 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 da. Transformers, more than meets the eye. You can tell it's good. Yeah, they're gonna fly off, and the time warp worked. And yeah, there's a making of it. It's about an hour at this point. a little under an hour.
Several hours later, Megatron and his minions have returned to their planet.
Considering there's allegedly like
Retrieved
20 minutes left, there's got to be more.
with the SDF Autobots.
It's,
Some of the Autobots and Decepticons have landed on Dinobot Island to make sure time has been set to rights. Galvatron has disappeared.
the STF Autobot. Legends comic book shop this year, as we refer to Black Friday, has a giant SDF model, about maybe 3.5 feet tall, pretty large in there. It's about 3 feet tall, I think. Which would be to scale with the Transformers as they were in this story. Yeah.
You have brought in
You're a model.
Yes, I have. And something else I discovered inside the fortress on my way back. Tracks. Yes,
Tracks.
Tracks. I have returned.
I was flying to ship.
Wow. Robot creator allowed me to live again, and I do. We must stop him, Skyfire, before he destroys this universe, wipes it clean, and starts again. Yes.
We must destroy whatever I'm talking about.
We do not want to stop Robot Creator.
Yeah, because he's another deity, apparently.
There is little time to explain, Skyfire. You must throw the ship into the vortex. Of course. I will do it. Autobots, Dinobots, toss the ship into the nearest time vortex. What the hell
Yeah.
is that?
Not the correct one, but the nearest one. Uh-oh, they're having a seizure again. Ah, no. Yes. The Dreadwind and Darkwing were another two G2 guys that were rebuilt special. They didn't build many of the new ones. The Stealth Fighter and that little guy. Basically, he was a sort of a target master. Sort of engine master. Engine master. His engine was the other guy. He shows up. He shows up in this later as Unicron. Yeah. Rest master.
Whatever it is, it's coming
Kinda.
this way.
No, it's more of a backpack
The
master.
ship has been returned to the vortex. But it's still something wrong.
Uh-oh, there's still something wrong. This is like a rewrite of the Final Adventure, only better. It kind of is. It has elements of the Final Adventure. Time warps and time travel to 2018 and all that. The apex of the universe itself. Oh, shots from a Carta. They're in the stars. There's giant Unicron. There he is. Because Galvatron decided to rebuild his body. Why did he do that? Oh, there's a little Robolinks guy there.
My fellow Decepticon. A new era is about to begin. Our supremacy of the universe will soon begin despite the time distortion over the earth. They haven't come here, so we are about to activate Unicron 2.
Unicron 2.
Destroy the
Yes, it is we that thought of Transformers the Unicron
We
trilogy
shall be victorious.
in 1995.
With mighty God.
7 years earlier than they did. They also came up with the idea of rebuilding Unicron. So did a bunch of other fans. Can't say we did it, but it is weird that we did it. Interesting, weird coincidence. toy gives him enormous, super double, triple D tits. Transor Z boobs. They keep cutting back to Carta melting in the background. Did they actually use footage from the Carta thing, like taped over it? Oh, why did I do that?
Why have I been placed in this
Smaller body.
and less immaculate body? You will serve me. I serve no one, Megatron.
He's only the size of Metroplex in that scale. That seems to be him. Yeah, he's not very big at all. He's Darkwind and Dragon are about six inches tall as a toy.
No.
That guy being an inch there, a little over an inch is a.
Fool, Megatron. You were a fool.
It would only make him, yeah, a little smaller than
Now
a Gestalt.
you, Cybertron.
Why would they do that? I'm a Gestalt. Oh, yeah, I'm a Titan, basically. What is Titan? Yeah, halfway between a Titan and a Gestalt. Leader class. Leader class in the 2000s. You'll serve me.
I belong to no one. I am a creation of the robot creator, and I will obliterate.
Oh, in other words, yes, even Primus is evil. Ah, Primacron and all that. Time warp.
What is that? Some things are even beyond Unicron.
Even begone Unicron. I think you meant to say beyond Unicron.
I am not stupid, Squidge. It appears your wretched little planet Cybertron is about to be obliterated by a time vortex.
By a time vortex. So are these guys actually the limbo guys at the end of Transformers Lexicons that have been sucked into the other vortex? Is that these guys?
That time vortex will swallow up over our dead bodies.
Sort of.
Decepticons.
Sort of. They're a universe that's similar to that. Ew, they're probably more related to the Final Adventure. They'll go onto the planet. It becomes ridiculous because they just pile toys on the set.
And it's Char. Oh no.
Char's gonna get sucked in too.
It's moving out of orbit.
Yeah, so like, oh, that's kind of weird. The black hole or whatever is sucking the planets.
It was I who created Gal.
That's right, we could calculate it.
Into Megatron, and now it is I who will destroy him.
So he's doomed basically.
The vortex cannot pull on me.
That's kind of funny. Ew, we got spaghettified. That's actually funny. So they didn't defeat the bad guy, Doom bad guy, by having another giant robot fight him. The vortex sucked him into itself. So it's like, yes, the villain exposed his entire plan to the vortex, and it was sentient, and apparently it swallowed him. It's like, you are not worthy. That's actually awesome. I love it. Oh. All this for a joke about Unicorn getting sucked into a vortex. Matte painting of the Earth. Decent matte painting of the vortex there. If that piece of paper was still around, or that Cybertron one, what am I think the Cybertron one is around. No, it's gonna suck the Earth into it, like in Unicron trilogy. Yeah, this is remarkably similar. There was an early version of this out, so they did see it years ago, in the early stages of the internet. Yeah, when the internet was hard to. So yeah, there was a storybook version that they probably read. But yeah, the visual version of this has never been no Penis that I know of, unless you showed it to Cheng Swan, and might have you might have showed it to Cheng Swan. Maybe they saw it, and some of them went on to be on
Megatron,
Transformers Armada.
we
Yeah,
must
it's
stop
possible.
this crazy time
Unlikely, but possible.
before it destroys the Earth and Cybertron and everything with it.
Probably more likely they're thinking of the same thing. It's like, okay, we have an evil, indestructible force that can't be stopped. How about it destroys itself? It gets sucked into a black hole. Yeah, yeah.
Are we going to do that? I'm not sure, but it has something to do with Cybertron just arriving and the time vortexes.
Time
Seem to
vortex.
all congeal up here in space.
Congeal. Congeal? Is that the right word? Converge is probably what I meant to say. Congeal. Yeah. Converge. Merge. Crash. Explode. Come together. Right now.
Speak now, Megatron. I did something. A what?
Eh,
Oh no!
a giant Megatron.
Unicron.
I thought they blew him up
Or
though.
something Unicron-sized is coming through the warp. Forgive me, for I am not exactly smart in this matter.
I'm not smart in this matter. I have destroyed you all.
I have at last found Cybertron, and Cybertron has at last found Oblivion.
So somehow he flew out of the vortex to attack Cybertron. Well, he flew into it and came out the other side. Okay. Flew into it and came out the other side. So it didn't spaghettify him. It was a time warp, not a black hole. Now it's attacking the other Cybertron in 2018.
Something you don't see every day. A big, huge, monstrous robot pushing a planet. Guys, I hate to break this up, but there's a big, huge something coming right for us, and it's mad.
And it's mad. Oh, we're throwing a double twist in Night Schland.
I'm the robot creator. You.
Oh, it's
Unicron,
Repugnance.
were my pawn to recreate Megatron, to lead us all to this destruction. And I created the time warps. Now you will die.
You will die. That's cinematic way. So they do have the giant robots fighting each other. Yeah, the other guy is that Repugnance? Yeah, I think so. Or is that the bug guy? Yeah. I think I see what that is. Anyway, so yeah, but it's like a giant version of him. It's a planet-sized version of him. Yeah, now I'm just doing a wrestling match. Wrestling over space.
Perhaps I should introduce you to Mr. Fist.
He
Take
just-
closer and destroy the Earth. Never.
I go into the earth, like in Transformers Prime. Yeah. Knock down, drag out. God fight. Similar to the scene in the end of Eternals. Except this is more interesting than the fight scene at the end of the Eternals. Which came like 30 years later. This is more interesting. It's more visually interesting and brighter. It's not as dingy and dark and twisted. I'm just gonna go fly to the sun now. Like, yeah, we didn't like your character anyway, bye. He was like chaff to them.
There's nothing like walking on home.
I feel like walking on home.
You're forgetting someone. What? It cannot be true. I just destroyed you and Earth. Because it is much easier to destroy than it is to create.
Then destroy. That is true.
And I don't think you will be coming back.
He threw him into Cybertron.
You won't be coming back, Unicron.
Ooh, now he's going to appear in the Trans-Tech universe as the smaller Unicron from Armada. Yes, gave birth to Armada. Yep. Transformers. Bring those minicons.
What have you
That's
done? My armies, they're destroyed.
the...
Mine too. They will not be destroyed.
Hmm?
You, Megatron, should not play with fire. And you, Skyfire, you're not the leader of the Rivals. I will throw you back through a vortex.
So he's basically like a celestial eternal watcher guy. Well,
Will be wiser.
yeah. Should be Primus. Although, as a sequel to Transformers the movie, if this was done with a budget, it would have been kind of cool. Yeah. And it would have been convoluted as all get out, but... if you didn't make it time warps, if you made it like you did in Shared Hallucinations 1 and 2. I mean, like, it's not really time warps, it's just going from place to place. Then it makes more sense. Yeah. It's about an hour and 13 minutes.
Earth has been restored. Yes, it would appear so. And the Decepticons have gone back to Cybertron, I assume, since they're not here. And Prime has been recreated.
Prime has been recreated again.
What was that robot creator thing anyway?
When did they rebuild Prime?
I'm not exactly certain, Cub. But he allowed us to be restored. And the year is 2018. Well, Autobots...
2018.
Fine. No, it's not. It just turned 2019.
Just for 2019.
And
The space plague is the planet. Oh no, no. That hasn't happened yet.
this body...
They're in the Space Bridge universe.
Black my color. Well, it's mine. Yeah.
Oh, there's two of them.
That's cool.
He likes being black. When you never go black, when you turn black.
Prime. Yes, we might as well. Autobots
Yeah,
transform.
I like that coffee like I like my man. Black. Always been on black. Line from a Wesley Snipes movie. Is Passenger 57. Yo, play roulette? Always been on black. That isn't what they said there. No. I don't think there's any bloopers in that. Interesting. Just a straight up movie. Transformer. More than meets the eye.
Wait for me, Grimlock.
Yeah, this is the last of the original Trans and Trans 2 stories. Before 7 years later, they would have Trans-Tech. And then Trans-Tech, the Trans-Tech trilogy would take 3 years over, several years over the course of and then, from 2002 in production to 2009, came out in 9, one after the other, 2003, 2005, 2009. Then it wasn't until 2019 and 2020, 10 years later, that we got more of our stuff in the form of Alt Transformers Mush, 2019, 2020. And currently it's Lexicons, and it just ended, and coming up on the next one, which will be The Robotech meets the Transformers. The Transformers meet
What do
Robotech.
we do now? Ah, shut up.
What do we do now? Shut up. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. It actually was really good. MC Kim's story here. We didn't interview her for this one, but yeah, it really worked. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, yep. Transformers Generation 2. Oh, deleted scenes. We do have some deleted scenes. A few. 3 minutes. Or do we? Oh, just end credits. Hello, fuck you film. That means he directed it. Trans 2, the movie. Transformers Generation 2. Dun, 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 dun. It's been Fire Prime. Fruity guy. He's still around. Tom Brooks as well. Miles of penis. Ponce de Leon is Unicron 2. So they all ended up being cast in Trans 2, of course. I don't think we missed anybody. Yeah. And Trans Tech there in it. Machines That Time Forgot. We called it The City That Time Forgot, but it's called The Machines That Time Forgot. I don't know why we thought it was called The City That Time Forgot. Maybe that was another story. I don't know. It's The Machines That Time Forgot. So it's Beast Machines, or Machine Wars, basically. The war continues. Destroy them again. No, clang. So yeah, the end credits are the bloopers. There's no bloopers. Yeah, sure. DuckTales. Coming soon. More end credits. This is playing again. So yeah, sure, why not? 80 minutes, sure. It's not too long, not too short. The original Transformers movie was 86 minutes. So yeah. Clint Cowpoke. Oddly enough, not playing Prime. Huh. He's not playing Six Shot either. You can tell it wasn't him. Yeah. Somebody else. So yeah, this is sure fine. Machines That Time Forgot. Pirated shows. It's not really. And then it goes through the crawl again, explaining about the inept leader Skyfire. The war continuing and all that. Annoying, isn't it? And then we end with annoying, isn't it? Oh no. Oh no. Okay, that's it. Dun, 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 dun.